Welcome to our 11th episode of the DMV Autocross podcast. I'm Danny Ko.
Yeah, and I'm Tabesh. Thank you for joining us on our episode number 10. Unfortunately, you won't see Bo Derek or Dudley Moore in this episode. Danny, who are they?
Jeez. Well, once again, you failed the 80s pop culture test quiz, Ada. I guess we better move on with what's coming up into next week in the DMV Autocross.
This week and next week in DMV Autocross. It's Memorial Day weekend, and if you want to autocross, WDCR SCCA has its second event at Waldorf this Saturday. The three largest classes this weekend are C Street, STH, and STR. All 9 competitors will be chasing Jack Chrissy in C Street, Al Pacheco, Tom Arnold, James Arthur, and our friend of the week will be going after class leader Mark Grange in STH. STR battle will continue between Marcus Pine, Greg Pollock, Jen Fox, and Steve Mitchell, with future fast guy Tyler Regino in pursuit. Patrick Gaffney and Cody Hunt will continue proving to everyone who is slower. Plus, Pat Griffith will be racing a tiny car with half of his engine. It'll be a super fun event, so please don't miss it.
And next Saturday, June 1st, both Brandywine Motor Club and PCA Chesapeake will have their second event at Ripken Stadium and Prince George's Stadium. Both events are likely sold out, but check with the event organizer for available spots. BMC event will include a few of our friends from north of the DMV area, and my predictions is the perennial FTD winner Aaron Shue will continue his domination. Williman, Mohi, Mahevka, Pine, Flower, Gaffney, and even Taverner may have a chance of getting close to Aaron in raw time. Packs-wise, we can just hand it to the course designer, Ken Roller and Alex Moramo. If Ken and Alex builds the course, look for a fun half-size national course again, which will be fun and challenging.
For the Chesapeake event, it will promise another fast and flowing course built by Mark Hubley and lots of runs and a smooth event to visit Rip for pre-dinner snacks afterwards. Registration ends on May 28th, so register soon.
And that wraps up the following 2 weekends events for the DMV Autocross. All right. So it appears that this year there are more rain events than normal, which showcases the importance of our esteemed weather forecaster. He's only right 51% of the time, but that's 1% better than the average, so I guess we better take it. So without further ado, please put our hands together and welcome our resident proctologist, Alan Claffey.
He's a meteorologist, Danny.
Whatever.
Hey, Danny, Ada, and everybody else listening out in internet land. It's Alan again with the weather. And before I start, I just want to bring up, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about rain so far this year. Let me just reiterate for you guys. I don't make the weather. I just predict it. Badly, I might add. I give the same information you guys do, but for some reason, Danny thinks I'm an expert at this. So we're going to pretend we're an expert with the next forecast here. We have nothing happening on Saturday that I can see. So Sunday, May 26th, WDCR is happening in Waldorf. That's just over there somewhere. It's not very far from home. And this says humid and 83 degrees. That's not great. Make sure you bring some water and make sure you're ready for hydration. There's a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. Remember, just a chance. Don't panic. That means there's a chance it won't thunderstorm. And if you miss it because you're afraid of a little thunderstorm, you might really regret it if nothing happens. We're going to look forward to next Saturday, June 1st. There are 2 events going on simultaneously. Brandywine Motorsports Club is at Ripken. PCA Chesapeake is in Bowie. And for both of those, ideal conditions, 75 and sunny. Not a hint of rain on this forecast. You know what that means? I'm off the hook. You guys better go take advantage of it. I probably won't because I'm a homebody, but everybody else should go and tell me how much fun it was and how much I'm a sucker for not going to Brandywine or Bowie. But these things happen. So on that happy note, I'm going to send this back to Danny and Ada in the studio. You guys have a good old time.
Thank you, Alan. There was no local autocross 2 weekends ago other than the WDCR Level 2 school in the Summit Point track cross. Many autocrossers attended the track cross, and there were over 100 participants. There was some increase afterwards of what's considered local, which Ada and I into a deep discussion to determine. And after about 30 seconds, we decided that we would report any event as a local autocross if we receive an event report from an event organizer or a participant. So what we're basically saying is that we're looking for event reporters to join our podcast team. If you would like to become an event reporter, please contact me or Ada. We can't promise you anything other than a sincere thank you and maybe a DMV podcast t-shirt in the future. Please let us know if you're interested. Maybe or maybe not. It depends on if Ada and I are both employed or not.
If we even have t-shirts.
I know. We don't even have t-shirts. How about? I stole this t-shirt from the time trials.
I know. You just go up to that box and you just take whatever.
Yeah, I know. Shh. Don't tell people that. All right. Let's move on.
Sorry. All right. There were 3 autocrosses this past Saturday, and they all ran in wet to dry conditions. And for some strange reason, Marcus Pine and Greg Pollock once again ended up running in dry conditions, but this time in different cheater all-wheel drive cars at the Mercedes event.
So unfair.
So unfair. Cody Hunt was at the BMW event, and he told us the course was fun, and they also got dry runs in the afternoon. The highlight of that event was that Patrick Gaffney registered, but chickened out after he saw Cody was going to be there. For the Chesapeake event, everybody had 6 fast runs on a great course, and the event ended by 1:30 before rain came. Here's to Danny to report the event results.
Now here comes my favorite part of the podcast. I get to once again report the Mercedes Autocross results.
Oh, no.
We have been getting lots of feedback from our previous episode. They even caught the event chief's attention. So much so, Mr. Eric Legore provided us a multicultural top 10 results for this event so everybody could understand who won the event.
He really did. He gave us a multicultural email.
He announced it at a driver's meeting.
Yes.
And then he sent us an email with the top 10 final results, right?
In multicultural format.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. So to keep the traditions going, I will report the results in Mandarin, and Ada will provide the English translation or whatever the language that Ada wants to use.
I speak English.
Yeah, so here goes.
Oh my God.
第一名, Greg Poe.
First place, Greg Pollock.
第二名, Atata.
Second place, Ata Tabesh.
第三名, Dustin Gurr.
Third place, Dustin Grubbs.
第四名, Derek Lowe.
Fourth place, Derek Locke.
Derek Lowe. Holy crap. I think I went to high school with him. No. All right. 第五名, Danny Carr.
Fifth place, Danny Kao.
第六名, Marcus Pye.
Sixth place, Marcus Pine.
第七名, Jen Foe.
Seventh place, Jed Fox.
第八名, Sean Koo.
Eighth place, Sean Kutik.
I think his brother Kevin Koo races at time trials. 第九名, Neil Ah.
Ninth place, Neil Ahmad.
第十名, Grant Boo.
10th place, Grant Balas.
So I'm not sure.
We did it. We got through 10 names.
So I'm not sure if we want to do it in Mandarin format anymore. But I think we should go back to the original results. But you know, by then everybody will know their Asian names anyway. All right, we'll keep moving on.
Can we not do them in Asian style? Eric gave us the names in English so we could do it in English.
But he might forget. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for Eric. So anyway, we will report whatever we get. How's that? Okay. So for Saturday's BMW top 5 finishers, fastest went to Cody Hunt, followed by David Howdyshaw. Third place went to Peter Grasso. Fourth went to my buddy Vincent Lee. And that's his real name, Vincent Lee. Not Vincent Lincoln or something like that. Sorry, Vin. Sorry, Vinny.
Oh my God.
And Christopher Moody was 5th fastest. All right, Ada.
For the Chesapeake event, the top 10 finishers are Howard Lykin with a 47.779, followed by Meyer Shimonov, Matt Hoffman, fourth, David Gritcher, fifth, Michael Ricketts, sixth, Jordan Vu. Oh no,
it's real Jordan
seventh,
Vu. He's a respectable autocrosser. Come on.
I know. Eighth, Michael Press. 9, Ken Wojcik. 10, Kevin Keaty.
Oh, you missed Greg Harkey at 7th.
Greg is 7th.
Also known as Greg Ha.
Listen, it's so hard reading these. Can we not read names? Can we just tell people where to look up the results?
That's probably better. Well, maybe we have to resort to that. We'll see.
Oh my God, I can't right now. I'm done.
All right. So Sunday's PCA Potomac event was at the Washington Circuit. Starts with a huge breakfast. I saw breakfast sandwiches, bagels, energy bars, beverage galore, iced tea, coffee. Oh my God! Oh, everything.
There was donuts. There was donuts at the.
There was donuts.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah, it was. They got everything there.
Every one of these events just really.
Oh, there was even donuts at Mercedes event.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was those 2 different delicious donuts.
Yeah, we call them dough. No, just kidding. Or do.
You're so lucky that you're Asian.
I know. I'm gonna move on.
We get canceled so quick. If you were,
I get canceled. I don't have to work anymore. I got laid off on both works. No, just kidding. All right. Drivers meeting includes a brief driver's education presentation followed by a course walk. If I can describe Saturday's Mercedes course as a letter M, because it starts off on the bottom and shoot all the way to the top and then come back down and cross and goes back up to the top again, come down. It looks like a letter M. So then the PCA course can be best described as a bunch of zeros, like a bunch of O's strings together.
Next to each other. Nice.
Yeah. It was challenging and a cardio workout for me. Everybody had fun, with sore arms, I'm sure. The top 10 results are Danny Kao finished first, Jack Chrissy second, third is John Benkovich, Mark Angie. I think Mark's last name is Gange.
Gange. Yeah, I don't think we pronounced it right.
He told me range, so it's Gange.
Gange.
Right. So Mark, you have to correct us again.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll say your name often because he was fantastic on that day.
He's always fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh Bain was 5th, and Dustin Grubb 6th, Jeremy Hubble 7th, Klaus Wood is 8th, Michael Press is 9th, and Kevin Keaty end up 10th. And that ends our autocross results report. We're back with Shane for our feature of the week. This week, we'll dive into Shane's secret in autocross instructing. So Shane, the things I'm most jealous of you is not your good looks or your athletic ability or your speed on course or even your abundance of energy. Right? I often ask my autocross students if they feel like they learned something during the school. And for 10 years in a row now, most students would tell me that, Shane's the best instructor. I learned so much from him, right? They never say anything about me like that. So tell me, did you pay him to say that? Are you like dating them? or what kind of Kool-Aid are you feeding them? Like fess up.
Wait, you're telling me all I have to do to get fast is ask Shane to be my instructor?
I'm just asking for Kool-Aid, man.
just get the purple one. The purple one. It's a fruit.
Or you have to date
Welcome
Shane.
back.
Right? There's anything wrong with it.
No, I mean, for that one, it's actually been just, I like teaching in that aspect. And I actually learned quite a bit, and it's taken a few pointers from you, Danny, in regards to like when you were my instructor or even when we were instructors together, and then we would recap because that student didn't know this, didn't know that, and working with each other. Like, okay, I worked on them with this. This is where they're progressing on that. Keep that as a note. And then, all right, they're progressing in this, and then I'll move them to something else. So what I always try to do is first, you got to grasp the student's personality, right? What they're doing good, what they're doing bad, and then keep it super simple. The aggression, this is the one that I took from you, and I still use it to today. And this was like back in like 2010 or something like that. keep the aggression, just learn to control it. And that works in all aspects of life, including racing, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're too aggressive. Cut it down. Cut it down. It's like, no, 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 no. Keep the aggression. Just control it.
Yeah.
Like when you're coming into the corner, you just got to brake. Just brake the where you need to brake and then be aggressive again. And then, oh, it's tail whipping. All right, let's calm that down. So what I always try to work on is some of the simplest things first. So always go by what the student is. If they come in and let's start off high. Let's say if they're a Cody Hunt. I'm not keeping up with Cody on the driving. I'm just not there anymore. So what I have to do, I have to get into a competition mode and I have to nitpick the small things.
Yeah.
All right here, you drug the brakes too long, so the car didn't get enough yaw because you scrubbed too much speed. Now you got to approach it with this aspect. So you have to go into those tiny, minute stuff. Then you bring it into a new person. Okay, they just want to floor it everywhere. So with that one, it's like, okay, here, I'm going to show you that you don't have to floor it everywhere. It's about the position, and then you'll have that control with your throttle. But a lot of this is precision driving. So you have to get your control right. So that's where I love to see the light bulb. You give them that, hey, here's a little nugget. And they're like, oh, that makes sense. And they go out right away and they do it. The toughest ones are the stubborn ones. You tell them, and they don't want to listen. And then what I find out is that you just kind of got to match their energy. And not being disrespectful by any means, but that's where you just got to be like, look, just do this. Just one thing. Give it to me. Pause hard.
Right.
You get on it. Like floor it here. Brakes. If you start to speed up, you got to slow down. And you just got to try and keep it simple is one of the biggest things. Let's go to level 2. Shout out to WDCR schools. You have your level 1, which you guys went over, along with level 2 with Brian on the last podcast. And with the level 2, you have your skid pad or your figure 8. I'm sorry, not skid pad, but you have your figure 8. And Brian taught us this. Hey, if they start sawing, he grabs the wheel. And it takes a while for that student to really kind of grasp that, oh, I do need to trust the car. What happens a lot of times is that you'll see a lot of people dance in the car. And so I would ask them, okay, why are you doing that? Are you feeling out something? No, the car is just moving. Okay, well, pause for a second and feel it out and see if the car grips. Oh, yeah, it is gripping. Yeah, trust the car. Trust your inputs. A lot of people will put in too much input and keep putting in input. And so it's just really just dialing certain things back, keeping the aggression, and then controlling that aggression is some of the finer things that I try to help out with. And it's normally that. The footwork and handwork are the two biggest things. I don't even start working on course yet, but you work on those two controls, and those are the most common things. And then we start working on where you're really going. Line wise.
Okay. How do you spot what the students need and get them to understand? Like you just mentioned about the aggressive students, et cetera, maybe the ones that aren't listening. How do you spot what they need and to get them to understand what you're trying to teach them?
So going back to that, each person is different. Yeah. So we'll say, hey, we're the ones that need to speed up. They're too cautious. Okay. The ones that are too cautious, you have to give encouragement. So it's like, okay, no, you're doing good. Get them comfortable, because they are very uncomfortable. Hence why they're not going faster. They just don't trust the car. They think they're going to hit something. They're, oh crap, it's a cone, but in their head, it may think it's a pole. So in that regards, what I started doing was, let's hit that cone. What do you want me to do? Go ahead. Just hit it. But if I hit it, it's going to, no. We're in a school. It's all right. They hit a cone. See, it didn't do anything. It just moved out the way. But now you know where your car is. Oh, let's speed this up. Come on, we got to warm up the car. You're warming up. Let's go ahead and not be afraid of the throttle. Feed it in and always use the same words. So rolling on the throttle, roll on, roll off. You give them instructional in there and you say the same thing. If you start using, oh, back on the gas, no, off the gas, oh, hit the accelerator, you got to do this. You start giving them too much, they're going to freak out. So you just got to keep it simple for those folks to build them up. Same thing with folks that are aggressive. All right, you're aggressive. You're diving in too hard. Hey. Keep the aggression, but let's do a better setup. Let's go a little bit wider so we can actually use the acceleration to our advantage. And so you're always trying to, and that comes in with experience when it comes from an instructor. The more people that you instruct or around personalities wise, is the more that you'll actually try and pick up those things. And talking to other instructors, like I said, talking to Danny, saying, hey, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this type of instruction for this person. This is what I see. And they'll give you the feedback, and that makes you better. Like having some of the powwows, we all have, and that encouragement. Marshall Cohn, if you watch him, he'll always pick up on that and sit down with the student and really kind of cheer them on and give them that confidence. And that's what I picked up a little bit from a lot of the instructors over the years in that regard. And so just be patient with the person. They're there paying good money for these instructions. The last thing they want you to do is start yelling at them. So just give them easy, patient instructions and one at a time. And that goes a long way.
Yeah. So just to kind of follow up this a little bit, right? So I have sort of I have a little bit of a method of dealing with the situation like this, but I want to know though, what's your secret to get the students to go faster, and let them not to get discouraged when they're not improving.
Oh, again, it kind of goes back to some of the stuff that we've talked about, you and I, in the approach. Okay, go and get me this, and they'll look at you like, I'm like, no, that was a little soft. And then you're like, Norm, I'll talk to Norm in a certain way. Come on, Norm, you got it. Just go ahead and give me the wood. Just floor it. What? You got this GT3. Go ahead and give it the beans. Ooh, just move your hands quick. Oh crap! It's stuck. You got it. You just got to trust it. And that's where just giving that encouragement. And it's like people have it. It's just a little hidden. And you just got to give that encouragement. It's like, here's a little bit. You don't have to ask for, because this blows people's mind. Don't say, all right, give me 100%. All right, whatever you got. Give me 10. Give me 20% more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just this. Just a little bit more. That's a half second. Yep. People don't realize that. Coming out of a corner and you're just on the throttle a little bit more, it's a tenth here, a tenth there, a tenth there. It's a half a second. That little bit, you do what you were doing, but you just exit a little bit more aggressive, a little bit earlier. You tipping on the throttle. Oh, and then you'll notice, the car is doing something a little bit more. It's yawing more on the exit. It's turning more. I don't even have to turn the steering wheel as much. So those little inputs, that they end up like, again, light bulb, and that speed just picks up. And it's really about that exit, them trusting the car in the corners, and then them rolling on the throttle.
I have a two-parter for you. First part, what do you do when the students are amped up? They want to beat the instructor, right? They want to beat your time, and they stop listening.
Yeah.
How do you get them back on track?
You just kind of show them. Like, it depends.
They can't beat you.
Yo, you ain't doing this. You're
not beating me.
You ain't got this, son. No. Oh, no. No, for that one, it becomes a great game. And actually, in some cases, I love playing the game.
They're competitive.
Well, it's competitive. So you get some that you're like, all right, I see how fast you're going. All right, let me back it down on my instructor run to give you something to chase. Because you want to bring out that dog and out of everybody as much as you can, but you got to gauge them from that first 2 runs. If they seem a little not aggressive, but they want something to chase, you dial it down a little bit. I know I do. Some instructors, not going to name no name, Garfields, they just go 10-10s. They go 10-10s, and I'm like, yo, you're going so fast. I don't even know what the heck you're doing. There's no way a novice is going to pick this up. And I was like, no, just dial it down to like 2 notches above what they are. Give them something to chase. Give them that bone a little bit. And then once you do that, just give them on a stick. But for those folks that are just super fast, that's where it's tough. That's where you got to like in yourself be like, all right, I got to try and really focus on, again, like a Cody Hunt or something, trying to come out and just dog you. I was like, yeah, bro, I need some competition runs before I can even chase you in a competition, much less you out here getting 20 laps and I got 2. Like, there's no way. And it just goes back to them just giving them a little bit, give them something to chase, whether you're sandbagging it or not, give them something to go after it. If they start, yo, I beat your time, take it. Yeah, that was awesome. And then, all right, now we're on course. Give me one more run. Give me 2 more runs real quick. And then you set the bar again for them. And as long as they're willing to do that, and a lot of people are, like a lot of times they get really amped up that they're beating the instructor. And sometimes you got to give them that, because they'll take that to heart. And the next event, they'll have so much confidence in the world, and they'll attack it quicker.
I love that. Second part of the question. We asked Brian Garfield this question before, okay? He was too nice to give us a straight answer. So let's get real. Name us one student who was the best and one student who is the worst, all right? Brian can't fire you, so fess up.
Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody probably would say lately that I can remember are, we've been saying Cody so much, so I'm going to say that.
Have you instructed him?
Yeah. I was like one of his early guys. Okay. And
Cody sucks.
He's such garbage. Who's a Cody? He's like a bottom 3.
The only reason he's fast is because he asked me and Vidovas to change his tires.
That's it. That's it.
He knows how to play the change tire game. No, just kidding.
Like, he needs a co-driver to warm up his tires. Yeah. Come on, son. Like, come on. Just do it solo. No.
So Cody's the best. Cody's the best.
No. Cody's awesome. He's been honing in over the years. But I would say it would be our resident student, Steven. I always forget his last name, but he drives
Stephen Courtney.
He is
awesome.
He just seen his evolution. He was at, like Danny, he was at every school level. Nice. 1, 2, good. TNT. He's burning through tires, rotating those tires, burning through them again. It's like, dang. And he just progressed so well because he did what a lot of people wouldn't do. I got my car, I put the parts on that I need, and I'm going to then invest in myself to get better. I'm going to have different instructors jump in, and I'm going to just try and chase them as best as I can. There was actually, after a while, I was like, dude, I'm not chasing you.
I got a fun story. So I think it was not the last school last year, but one of them. So I walked up, and then so people are picking, the instructors are picking where to go, right? And then like people are staying away from Steve. So Brian says, "Oh, you got Steve Corney." I go, "Oh, shit. He's gonna kill me." So I go in there. Awesome. So I went in there. I was acting totally cool. I was like, "Okay, here, Steven, man. Like I'm just gonna show you what I'm gonna do, right?" Mm-hmm. And then like, so he takes the first 2 runs. I go, "Oh crap! I don't think I beat that time, but the tire's cold." So now at least I got like decent tires, right? Yeah. So I came out and did a couple of runs and all that stuff. I say, "Well, see here, man. This is like, I was going as fast as I could. And if I said, that was my like 70% run. Okay, just take it easy. but no, the point I'm trying to make is that Steven is a great student.
Yeah.
Like I would pick out little things and say, okay, here, you might be able to kind of attack the sweepers a little bit of it this way, or like get a little bit ahead over here on coming around, because did you see the off camber that's coming into the entry? It's a decreased radius on the corner exit and things like that where he didn't pick out. But like you just have to say that once, then bam, he's got it.
Yeah.
And then next time he's showing, okay, here, I'm going to show you what I got. And then bam, there it is.
Yeah. Right? And he'll actually talk to you while he's driving too. He'll point out a particular section in the course and he'll get to that section. It's like, is this what you were talking about that you wanted me to do? And he'll be doing it. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. That's awesome. And it's tough. Like I told him, I was like, I don't even drive, dude. Just take my 2 runs. So it's like, you just get the seat time. I'm just going to keep giving you those little nuances, but I'm not going to beat your time. Right. Like, as you said.
But my master, but the thing that, my master backup plan is when I, at the end of it, the only way that I can make him improve is say, okay, I'm going to send you to Shane now.
Nice.
No, Steven's an excellent autocross, no doubt.
Good answer.
He's giving Marshall all his hands full.
All of it. All of it. I mean, like there's a few guys, like when folks come out and you're like, oh man, I got to put competition mode on, like in a school, which is tough because it's a different mindset. But yeah, he brings it like that all the time. And so you got to be sharp. And then you go, so even as a instructor not driving, you got to be sharp to help him pinpoint those minor things that cost 0.2 in the end. That's a championship. That'll win you something right there. And those are what people are coming out and want our expertise on.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So you didn't answer the second part of the question.
I forgot what it was.
Worst student ever.
I can't name no names, but he drove a WRX.
He drove a
I can't name no names.
You said you drove a WRX.
Yeah, but I ain't instructing myself.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Oh, okay.
So he drove a WRX.
I thought it was this guy.
That's me.
No, I never been your instructor.
This guy.
Well, if I would say one of the worst drivers I just saw, like doing 360s in the first 100 feet, maybe.
Okay. Podcast over. Podcast over. Cut it. Cut this out. Do not air that.
Shift. Boom in the Civic.
I was trying to shift fast. I was trying to shift so fast.
B-Tech kicked in, yo. I'm done.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I'm wearing my Honda right now too. I'm wearing my OK Honda.
Oh, jeez.
So about Honda.
Repping.
Okay, so we just couldn't get these guys in trouble for some reason.
Neither one of them would give us the worst student ever.
No. Like, I just don't remember his name. I'll tell you what car you drove.
There was a worse student who actually drove a WRX.
Yeah, no. It was a blue WRX. He got better 4 years later after kind of taking it, I guess, more serious or whatever. But man, that first year, like all of us, Danny, you included, was like, can you take him? Like, no, he always ended up in my lap because everybody was like, by the end of the day, everybody was like, yo, Shane.
Help your boy, WRX boy. You got a WRX, he got a WRX.
That was it.
Was that what they were saying to you?
No, that's what they were saying. But when we were done, we were just like, yeah. It wasn't just because it was WRX. Like you would give instruction and he just blatantly wouldn't listen. Like, hey, we're approaching this corner and the car doesn't sweep. You're going to have to do slow and fast out. Just do you, bro. Just go ahead. I'll just sit back here. Hey, you can't go full boost into this 10-mile-per-hour turn, bro. Yep, that's not
with that attitude. You can't.
Like, why are we on the other side of the course right now? We were supposed to be making a right. Like, just bruh, just hit the brakes. They work.
I'm so glad you answered the question. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Come on, man. I mean, but 4 years later or so,
He got better.
He dialed in the car. He got better. I even had to commend him. I was like, dude,
That's
you're a pain in the ass to work with, you know? But you, like 2 years, it took him like 2 years before he'll actually listen. And I was like, there you go. And he got faster. I mean, he wasn't like competitive, but he got faster from his base to actually understanding the stuff. And then he actually dialed in his car so well that I was like, damn, this is a WRX that can actually turn. And I was like, yo, you've gotten a lot better now. Like he literally was listening like, hey, it's a WRX, can't really sweep. So you got to do this. You got to practice this. And he'll start doing it. So it just took some time, but
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So even your worst student, it's a success story.
It is a success story. He started getting a lot better. It was pretty awesome. But trust me, that first 2 years was because he came in as the usual WX bro boy.
Yo, they all are. Even Jarrell's the new one right now. I mean, he is all about that WRX. He has the biggest wing in the paddock.
God, not until Alan shows up.
Whoa.
Are you spoiling what?
Wang size.
Ooh.
Is Alan getting something?
We don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah. Check Reddit. No, just kidding.
Oh snap!
Yeah, but I think the moral of the story is this, right? So a good instructor never gives up on their student. So yeah,
love that.
So you know, like it doesn't matter how big of a pain or whatever it is. I mean, ultimately we want to see them go fast. So the faster everybody goes, the better off the whole entire organization or the area would be. So one of the things that like back in the day when Shane started before me, but when Adam and I first started back in 07 or 06, sometime around there, that was the heyday of FedEx where we saw all the fast people around. I mean, there were like bunch of national champions and, Strana would drive 5 hours to come to, FedEx and run.
Philly
and then,
folks would come down.
Yeah.
New York folks would come
the New
down.
York guys would be there, like people drive 3, 4, 5.
They used to sell out.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it was 8 o'clock. Was it 8 o'clock, Danny?
Oh yeah. I mean, as soon as it comes on, boom, it's gone. It
was gone.
Yeah. So the thing is I think the most important thing is the only way to draw people is to have high quality events with high quality drivers, and then they all showed up when the competitions are boosting and getting up there, and that's where the event gets really exciting because then you can race at any level. Right.
Yes.
So and then all the fast people will come out and try to challenge themselves. So hopefully, like if we have good instruction and get people to go fast, and then if the overall environment, the whole DMV area, all we have is fast, excellent, racers or drivers, and that's when every event's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Just the competition. The competition drives the excitement, and more people just want to jump in on that excitement for sure. That's what draws us all in, and just hey, let me try and chase that love for the chase.
Yeah. So with that, thank you, Shane, for joining us for the past few features of the our features of the week episodes. It says I love my wife, but it really says I love it when my wife lets me riding mountain bikes. Something. And I don't know what Adam's shirt says. Adam says just he's okay or something.
It says it's a Honda Motor Co. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
It's a Honda, old school Honda.
I was almost thinking like, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay?
Annie, are you okay?
Yeah.
Annie, are you okay?
And I'm wearing my free MCS T-shirt that Carwin gave me.
Yeah, it's a free MCS T-shirt when you buy $1 billion MCS.
All right, okay, let's not talk about that.
For each car that you've had.
For each car.
That's on the next episode.
Danny, isn't that my T-shirt?
This one right here?
Yeah. I have MCSs on the
No,
Super.
I mean, I'm like triple extra large now. This is not yours.
I'm pretty sure it belongs to me, though, because I have the MCSs.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. I don't even remember how we got your MCSs.
I have MCSs.
All right, okay. I'll take the shirt off. I'll give that to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, it's yours.
Right now.
All right. And again, like with that, thank you, Shane, for joining with us for the past few episodes of the feature of the week. I'm sure listeners learned a lot about course walk strategies, and autocross race car selection and some of Shane's secret to make the students learn quickly. Well, I'm still jealous on, why all the students like Shane more than me, but, I'm thick skinned. I'm okay.
This concludes our feature of the week with Shane. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Please come back and join us again.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, great.
You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, okay,
All right,
awesome,
guys.
Shane. Okay, see you on the track. Boom.
All right.
Okay.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom. Make the vroom, vroom noise.
Room.
For our Meeting a New Autocross Friend segment, I am happy to introduce our first autocross couple, Elisabeth and Greg Sharpe, as our new autocross friends. If you raced at SCCA national events within the past 10 years, you will definitely know Elisabeth as one of the fastest women racers in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania region. Now Maryland, D.C., actually.
Don't forget about Virginia.
And Virginia. We're super happy to have her and Greg relocating to our area, and we could talk with both about their DMV autocross experience. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Sharpe, to our podcast.
Yay!
Yay!
Hello. Golf clap. Today's the Masters. Yeah, it is.
It is.
All right. So I want to share something funny. One of our A listeners asked me if I knew Elisabeth and Greg and told me that he can introduce me to you guys for a great interview. Little did he know that not only have I known Elisabeth for over at least 10 years, I'm also their drug dealer.
Yeah.
Legal drugs?
I think so. I think it's totally illegal.
Still very expensive drugs.
Yeah, it's very expensive drugs. It's yellow in substance, but it's made in Honda. It's made by Honda.
It's Japanese.
It's Japanese.
Yep.
A Japanese drug.
Yep.
Honda Bond?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Honda Civic SI.
It's addictive either way.
Oh, the Civic is the drug.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
All right, I'm not like
I
you.
thought it was
You're-
Honda. I thought we were sniffing Honda Bond now. I didn't know where this was
Well,
going.
I mean, you're a little bit more
Yeah,
high
nobody
class
afford
now
that
because
stuff.
you have super drugs.
We don't have those drugs. We
That-
take our cars to the dealership.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
All right, for our listeners, could both of you share your autocrossing experience? Did our fun sport bring you two together? Inquiring minds want to know.
You want to tell them?
I can start.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it.
So I was up at Vader in South Jersey. I had my Evo. I hadn't raced in a while, so I had painter's tape on the side. I was chilling in the staging lanes, just listening to some heavy metal, just getting pumped up. And had my door open, and she just walks up. And she says, oh, is that heavy metal? And I should have been like, nah, it's just easy listening. And said something funny. I couldn't. I was breathtaking. I was just like, oh, yes? And she goes, I like heavy metal. And just walked off. And I was like, whoa, just happened. I have no idea. So then, like, a couple minutes later, my buddy showed up, and he wanted to take a run, but it's Jersey, and you can only take a run with your instructor. And I was explaining that to him. And this one, like, Batman just popped smoke and appeared, and she was like, I'm an instructor. Do you need an instructor? And I looked at my buddy. My buddy looked at me. My buddy looked back at her, and I looked back at her, and I was like, yes, I need an instructor.
Yeah, my version of the story is actually I forget most of that interaction and clearly.
I am forgettable. This is what that boils down to.
But I do remember, like, we get out on the run, and I'm thinking this guy is completely new. I've never seen him before, and we get about 10 seconds in. I'm like, huh, he's online. Oh, he like hit that breakpoint really well. He's actually doing super good. I don't really have a whole lot of feedback. And we pull up, and I'm like, have you ever done this before? And he was like, yeah, I have like 18 years of driving experience. I just wanted to talk to you.
Smooth, very
That
smooth.
was well played.
I had to play the long game, though, because then it was like 2 months before I was coming back up to the Jersey region. I had to hit her up and be like, hey, you remember me? And she was like, yeah. She didn't, though. She admits later she didn't remember. Just standard white dude in an autocross.
Oh, my God.
So I would consider Elisabeth a traditional autocrosser, right? I still remember back in the day at MetLife Stadium when she's asking a group of autocrossers like me and Eric Simmons, for driving advice. So her race car choices are always spot on. And we have Mini Coopers, 8th Gen and 10th Gen Civic Si are all perfect race car choices, and they're all ultra competitive in their class. Right? So for Greg, what the heck? Oh, what's with the Geo Metro?
For the record, the Geo Metro is the backup race car. The problem is that the primary race car is an Evo 8. So it's like natural habitat is on jack stands.
Right.
So that's the deal there.
So are you going to modify your Geo Metro so that it looks like an Evo?
No, we're gonna fix the Evo, and make it an Evo again. Yeah. So
All right. Well, so I actually have an idea of taking a Scion IQ and make it look like a GTR.
I like it.
Yeah. Well,
Scion IQ?
that is in my mind. So that's
a
gonna
really,
happen.
really, really bad idea, by the way.
That's right.
It's the worst idea you could have ever said.
All right, but I have a follow-up question though. It's really important. So could you both explain the influence you have for each other in autocrossing So Greg is finally driving something normal like the Mustang.
We don't drive together
Nope.
in the same car anymore.
Why I own the Mustang.
He beat me by 1/100th of a second at an event, and then we had a 3-hour drive home.
Why you guys feed into it? Oh, it's a hair. It's nothing.
After that, we're like, you know what? It's better for our marriage if we just drive different cars in different classes. And
I think this just speaks to your high level of competitiveness.
How did that make you feel, Elizabeth?
Stop. What are you doing?
I mean, I had a lot of excuses for why I lost that 100.
Did you go to Addis School of Excuses?
Yeah.
Never heard an
This guy's like a
autocross
CBS receipt of excuses. He's like, well,
Yeah. So Greg, I mean, your first answer, I would say very, very smooth about how you met. And then when you started being Elizabeth, that's not very smooth.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
smooth.
That's not smooth at all.
Almost fluid.
All right. And then I want to follow up with more questions now. And that could benefit all the young autocrossers, right? So question 1, how's the baby?
good, apparently. The grandparents checked in. He's fed.
Nice.
Good to go. Actually, what time is it? Oh, yeah, he'll be getting put down to sleep soon.
All right.
A whole day without the baby.
So that's very important for young autocrossers, right? Because we just realized that what's the best babysitters you can get while you're on autocross?
Grandparents.
Right.
They're the
That's right.
cheapest. They typically bring stuff with them, whereas real babysitters, you got to pay them, you got to feed them,
Buy pizza and
buy
stuff.
pizza.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So that's a very good tip. 2 is how do you manage to have a beautiful little baby and still race and instruct several local autocross groups? You know, your planning time and management skills will extend the career of many autocrossers, right? So I wish I could do it myself, you know, so I don't have to start autocrossing when I turn 41, right? So what's the secret? Even though, but you got to go further than just the grandparents.
Yeah.
Right? How do you time manage?
We scramble. Like, the grandparents will show up the night before, and we'll scramble in the garage for, like, however long it takes to rotate tires and get cars put back there. Like, for the test and tune, we were bolting sway bars on at, like, 9 p.m. or whatever. It's a scramble. Like,
I will say though, like a lot of the groups around here have been really helpful with us. Like we'll tell them, hey, we're bringing the baby out to this event. Can you kind of work with us as far as worker assignments so that we can kind of trade off? And one of us has the baby, one of us is racing. And people have been really nice and accommodating with that and have really worked with us to make that happen. So we're grateful for that because we've been able to actually, we want to introduce him to the autocross scene early and kind of like brainwash him at this young age. So we've been able to do that.
2041 world champion.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Elizabeth and Greg, for joining us today. We're using our break during the PCA Chesapeake Autocross School to conduct this interview so you can see how Elizabeth and Greg can juggle their busy schedule and still have fun racing. Hope you are getting some much-needed sleep, and thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah.
happy to oblige.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for what you do for the community. We appreciate that, too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elisabeth and Greg. That was wonderful. This concludes our podcast episode. Everyone is excused except for the novices. Our novice meeting begins now. For today's novice meeting, we will continue on the subject of SCCA classing. So we've already gone over street class and street touring class. What comes next? You're wondering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Extreme and Cam.
That's right. Ada's all about
Yes.
extreme.
And Cam.
And Cam.
Danny, tell them the rules. What's going on with these classes? Why are we so excited?
There's no rule. There are no rules, which is why we're excited. We're like outlaws.
Outlaw, yeah,
Yeah.
we are. We're like the street outlaws, but not on the drag strip.
Okay, well, let's cover the history of it a little bit because, the Cam class and Extreme Street, actually, when they first started, only has a one-page rule. So all the rules are on one page. Now they're like 3 pages, which, they're triples the size, right? But it's still kind of readable because you can go through 3 pages instead of 35 pages per one class, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Cam started back probably in the mid-2010s, right? SCCA legends Raleigh and Velma Boreen out of the Indy region are the ones that started the entire Cam class movement. So basically what they are is they are American muscle cars, and anything goes. Literally.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
So we can cover Cam first. And then, of course, the rule has changed slightly. It's been moved along to the current iteration. Now, there are lots of participants running Cam. I actually ran Cam in 2017 and 18. Went to nationals, did a lot of events, and I did very well in my Gen 6 Camaro. So those are fantastic cars to drive. There are 3 Cam classes. There's Cam T, called Cam Traditional. And they are earlier generation Mustangs, Camaros, and what's the other company?
What are you talking about? Like
The pony cars. Dodge.
Dodge.
Yeah, all the Dodge cars. What are those? Okay, so actually there are 2002 and prior Camaros and 2004 and prior Mustangs, and also 2002 prior Firebirds, right? And then of course you see a lot of 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, Cam T cars. They're usually extreme builds.
They're the most fun to watch. They're the most fun to drive. They're most fun to ride in.
That's right. I've seen some 67 or 65 Corvettes in modern Corvette stuff. Or my buddy John Krause has this 64 Nova sitting on a C5Z06 chassis, right? And they're just some of the most amazing builds that they are.
My buddy Todd Lilly could take out your buddy.
That's right, Todd Lilly. Yeah, great car.
Any day of the week.
6.7 GTO, stuff like that. So literally, it's any cars prior to 2004 for Mustang or prior to 2002 for GM Firebirds and Trans Am or in Camaros. And all of these American muscle cars, they all group together, modify all you want, do all kinds of cool things. There are limits where if they over prep, they're going to get thrown into the Cam S class, right? But the typical muscle car build, Pro Street, Pro Touring, those type of cars, they get to group in Cam T, right? In fact, that's one of the biggest and the coolest class that as you do more and more autocross, you realize, or you hear about this thing called the UMI King of Mountain. So the company UMI in central Pennsylvania, they put up this humongous event that offer huge prize money and literally they have all kinds of different classings, but their primary members or customers are folks in the Cam cars, right? So that's the time that you see all these fancy cars and they're racing for $25,000. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, Cam is a fantastic class. Now Cam C is basically your modern Camaros, your modern Mustangs, and your modern. There's no more Firebirds, but some Challengers. You see some Challengers, and sometimes see some Chargers. Sometimes you see some pickup trucks, and then they all group in Cam C. That's it's called Cam Contemporary, right? And then now you have your sports cars called Cam S, which is Cam Sport, and then the cars that dominates in those areas are Corvettes, newer Vipers. Cobras, the Cobra kit cars that are factory fives. And so I actually have one of those factory five Cobras. It's pretty fast and hard to drive. Our friend Larry Casey has one.
Oh yeah.
No. He sold it to Mike Neri.
He sold it. Yeah.
That's right. That's
he had
right.
one for the longest time. Yep.
So my first co-driver, Mike Neri, now has a Cam S car.
Oh my goodness.
And
is
those
are right next to his Evo.
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Who knows?
Maybe. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So, he's no longer a staff sergeant, so I guess he can afford anything he wants now. Cam S is a fantastic class, right? And if you live in the Mid-Atlantic region, the celebrity Peachy brothers, they dominate in XP and Cam, and in some of those classes. So when they feel like running Hoosiers, they're running XP, and then when they feel like running 200 treadwear tires, they run in Cam S. So Eric has a Viper, fastest Viper guy in the country now in autocrossing, probably.
Yep.
And then and Justin Peachy needs no introduction, right? So he's winning everything now. He won the triple crown of what do you call it? They had the LS Fest, for Chevy, and Ford Fest, and then and Dodge Fest or Chrysler Fest, whatever those fests.
Yeah.
He won all three of them in 1 year.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he also just won his first nationals. He won SCCA time trials. He has track records at Corvette Museum.
I'm pretty sure his car is on the banner at SCCA when you go to the time trial page.
That's right. Yeah,
I think his car is at the top. Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. I mean, these two guys has established quite a bit. So they are the poster boys of Cam, right?
Love it. Yep.
All right. So
well, before we move away from Cam, why do those cars sound so good, Danny, when they're on course?
I don't know. I mean, here's the bottom line, right? The best sounding race car, probably a V10 F1 car.
Okay, that's fair.
Right.
We don't have very many of those around here.
So we don't have any V10 F1 cars. So obviously the bigger the displacement and engine, the more, powerful sound it's going to generate, right? So if you want to hear very good throaty, engine noise and all that stuff, Cam is your class.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
There is only one sound that's better than that big throaty V8 sound, though, and that is the spool of a nice turbo. That's
Well, I mean, it's probably better than the Tesla sound.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
poor
yeah.
you're picking on the Teslas. They're not even allowed to race half of the places
That's right.
anymore.
But they can play on all kinds of music or whatever. Maybe as they go by. Yeah,
Yeah, that's nice. Like
Yeah.
whatever is on popular songs on the radio.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, maybe that's a good sound.
Poor Teslas.
All right, so let's talk about X.
yes,
Right.
yeah.
We're going over this segment sort of fast because there's there's only like one rule or a couple of rules that you have to worry about. They're on 3 pages.
You
X.
don't talk about Fight Club. That's
Yeah,
the
I
only
know.
rule.
That's right. Yeah, you're talking about Fight Club. So X, the extreme class, starts off with XA and XB, and then it went to XS, SA, XA, and XB, and then XS drop off because we only have like 7 guys in the class at nationals.
2 of them are right here.
Where's my picture? 5. I have a picture of 5 of us.
Yeah, 5. Yes, we're all standing next to each other.
I mean, literally, it's like a
We're
literally
just friends.
No, I'm telling you that like the XS race at nationals was a combination of 3 folks from Ohio and all of us here from DC and
Yep. And Edwin.
I count Edwin as one of us.
Oh yeah, he is
Yeah,
one of us. He's-
Yeah. And then in Kelsey from I think they're from like
Texas.
Texas. Yeah. So a couple from Texas.
They were really nice.
And that was it. So then obviously national office didn't want to give a trophy to just like 3 people. So they finally wised up and put them all together, which is what we've been asking them to do all along, right? So anyway, now we have XA, XP, and then there's a new class called XU, right? I guess XU is anything that doesn't fit in XA and XB, and then it has no weight limit, no nothing. So if you're one of those cars that, I don't know, let's think of a car. I don't know. I mean,
let's go S2000.
yeah. How about Mike Moran's car, Creepy Mike's car, the Exoset?
Okay.
Yeah.
Exoset. Yeah, there you go.
That
200 treadwears.
Yeah, 200 treadwear of something, right? I don't know what's on there, and that's probably that car can probably run an XU. Yeah, because you don't have to need you don't need a windshield.
Yeah, you don't need windshield
or
wipers.
any of that stuff. So so that's where XU is. But for the most part, for most of us, we're not going to be in that area. So it's all going to fall under XA and XB. And the reason that I really both Adam and I are excited to talk about XA and XB is because that actually fits in most of our classes if you like to play with cars.
Exactly. If
Right.
you love
Yeah.
cars.
If you play
love
with
modifying
cars,
them.
you love
Yep.
modifying them. You want to see what it can do, right?
Yeah.
When you come to when you go to SCCA, you either run XA, XB, or CAM. If American car, you run in CAM, and if you have any other American muscle cars, that's not American muscle car, I guess. Then you can either run XA and XB.
So what you're thinking of, the words you're trying to say is like Japanese car, Korean car, European car.
Yeah, any car.
You just
Yeah.
any muscle car that's not
any
from America.
non-muscle car, right? You can
Yeah,
run them, right? So so if you have a Eco Talent, right? I guess it's American, right? You run them in XA, right? So let's go over the rules of XA. And then the biggest thing about XA differentiation is weight.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really based on minimum weight of the cars. So if you have a highly modified car that you want to run 200 treadwear and it's all-wheel drive, if you're over 3,180 pounds, you're an XA.
Yes.
Okay. The minimum weight is for XP all-wheel drive is 2,480.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the minimum weight. So if you have an all-wheel drive car under 2,480, sorry, you cannot run in XB.
Yeah.
You have to go to XU. Right. And then so between 2,480 all the way up to 3,179 will be
That's
XB, and anything above 3,180, you're running an XA. Okay. And railwheel drive cars for XA, minimum weight is 2,930. XB minimum weight for railwheel drive is 2,330. Right. And front wheel drive is 2,680 for the minimum weight for XA and 2,180 for the XB class for front wheel drive cars. And then all of them are measured with the driver.
Yep.
So somebody like me, I can sit in the car and, I weigh 500 pounds and then.
Okay. No. Okay.
Yeah. But for the most part, like it's really easy to determine if you're an XA or if you're an XA or an XB, right? If you have a pretty powerful car, high horsepower, you're probably an XA. And if you have a light, nimble car, and then you're probably an XB. But the beauty of XP is you can throw all kinds of engine modifications and make it super fast, right?
You can make them faster than XAs.
That's right. Yeah. So since maybe LS swap is pretty hard to drive nowadays, right? Let's say you have a V6 swap or a K-swap Miata,
Yeah, sure.
right? That push it up to 350 horsepower, sitting right around, let's say for the sake of argument, 2,100 pounds or 2,150 or something, right? With all that stuff. And if you're a 200-pound, 180-pound driver, bam, you can sit right in XP at the minimum weight with 350 horsepower, and you can run 295s in the front with a small wheelbase. Yeah, that's probably one of the fastest XP car that you can get to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So XB, it should be faster than XA based on things like the PAX multiplier. Is that right, Danny?
XB is faster than XA's, technically.
Then why in the DC region does XA absolutely stomp all over XB? Maybe I should have saved that for Ask Uncle Danny.
Well, it's an interesting question, right? It's an interesting question, right? That because XA used to be run by me. XA used to be run by me, right?
Yeah.
So that's why XA was stomping XB. But now I'm in XB, so XB is going to stomp XA.
Well, I have a jacket that says I was the XA winner from last year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yep.
So then the take home message is this for all of our listeners: it's very easy to get it's very easy to get an XA jacket in DC. So it's there for the taking. So come and get it.
Oh my God!
Come and run with us.
Oh my God! I actually tied Jarrell.
Yeah.
At the very end of the season.
Oh my God! You can imagine how easy that really is.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky that his car kept breaking.
Yes.
Because the last event was in the rain.
Yeah.
Poor guy didn't have a car, so he had to ride with me.
Yeah. I mean, those DC jackets are really, really nice. So,
such a nice jacket.
But you have to be in it to win it. So you got to come and run it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Come and run it.
So anyway, so within XA and XB, I don't want to simplify everything, but then again, XA, XB, and CAM. If you have a car, if it's been modified, you're not sure what class you are. If you like to add wings, you like to add splitters and diffusers and all that stuff. Yeah. This is your class, right? Yeah. So before you have to ask around, to when you run with SCCA and say, what class would I be? And then somebody will come in and say, oh, you need to be in X prepared, or you need to be in street mod and stuff like that. And then now you're talking about
SSM, and you're going up against guys with Hoosiers.
And then, then we start look at these people's time. They have a dedicated, compound charging Lotus on Hoosiers, running 20 seconds faster than you are. So then you go out this.
Well, this is not fun.
It's not fun. See you later. I don't want to run that, right?
Exactly.
But now you have X. So, and you can see that Adam and I both run in X, and we suck. So,
yes and no. We haven't gone over the part about the men and the boys. The men run CAM and XA, and then the boys like Greg Jones and Andrew Choi, Tony, those kind of guys.
They run like XB.
Mike Brown, they run the XB. It's like kind of, it's not like any worse than XA, but like who wants to run with them when you could run with someone like me? Yeah. So you should probably sign up for XA.
It's really like an A student, B student kind of a thing, isn't it?
Exactly. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah. But there is no best class, right? They're all great classes. Yeah. All classes are equal.
Anyway, XB with Choi, Mike Brown, and Alan Claffey and myself.
Alan, he's XB now, right? Yeah.
It's going to be much, much, much tougher than A. And then and again, you want free jackets, just go to A.
Can we cut this part?
Yes.
Can you cut that? Just get it out of here.
Yeah, we whine way too much on this. All right. Okay. So I don't know how much of a help that we have for novices for these segments because we kind of just bickering back and forth. But I definitely think that the take-home message is if you don't want to stay in street class and you want to come out to autocross and initially just for fun, right? Yeah. Consider XA and XB and then sign up for each one of them. The letters are easy. Right? X is easy. 8 is actually easier than B. So
that's true.
So maybe that's a good class to be. So 1XA or 11XA could be your number, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
perfect.
So come and join us for that one.
Yeah, but is exactly what Danny's saying. If you're a novice or you know someone that's a novice and they want to come out and they have a splitter or a wing, this is the class. This is the class that automatically bumps you into with the arrow and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. So anyway, this segment is not planned. We didn't plan to go this way. It really seems like a loosey-goosey segment without any organizations or whatever. And that's exactly what XAXB is.
And CAM, let's go.
Right? So hopefully you get the essence of what that.
You're right, though. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Just come on, have fun, goof around, and then, be safe. But everybody would judge you based on how cool you are, and not how fast you are. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up, and that wraps up our 11th episode of the DMV Autocross podcast. Thank you again for spending the time with us, and we hope again you have fun and find this informative.
Yes. And don't forget to join us for the next episode. And until then, keep those tires on the track and that wing XAXP camp in the back.
X-Wing. All right. Okay. Have a good one.
See ya. So for this Ask Uncle Danny, I'm actually going to be the one to ask you, Uncle Danny. Okay. And as you know, I love autocross. I consider myself an autocrosser. But I also enjoy other forms of motorsport. I go to the drag strip once a year. I've been doing HPDEs now for a while. And lately, I've been dabbling into time trials. And I wanted to ask you, so that on this platform, you could kind of share that experience that you've had with others. How does an autocrosser or someone that's maybe either newer to motorsport or has only done one discipline of motorsports for a while, how do you make that jump? How do you make that leap into other disciplines?
Oh, yeah, I definitely made that discipline jump. I would say it really started in 2015. So, oh my gosh, that's almost 10 years. Yeah, almost 10 years. So, yeah, I mean, I would say that there's definitely a big difference between autocrossing and running on track, right? What I meant by it is it's significantly more expensive running on track, and it's significantly faster, and then you have to work with lots of people and share the same space. So inherently, there's a little bit more danger with track running. What I did, I can basically share my journey. I started out as an autocrosser, and I'm still an autocrosser. If you ask me who I am, I'm an autocrosser. Right? I identify myself as that because I'm trained as an autocrosser. Right? Yeah. So with autocrossing, the good thing about autocrossing is whether if you know it, you don't know it, eventually you will gain car control, and you will have excellent car control skills.
Yep.
Up to a certain speed, right? And then the other thing that you can probably do better than most other people is your course management and actually learning something quickly that you've seen the first time, right? Those are the two things that whether if you realize or you don't realize, and as you become a seasoned autocrosser, you will automatically have car control, and you will automatically be able to recognize things very, very fast that other people don't recognize, right? And if you have those two skills and then step on the track, you're halfway there, in my opinion. When you get on the track, the difference is there are, if you get thrown into HPDE, you immediately have to deal with traffic. You immediately have to learn the track. Then you immediately have to learn the etiquettes, the flag, and everything else around you, right? Following instructions from the instructor. So there's a lot of things going on, within that, right? So my step of transitioning actually was I did not go straight into HPDE. When I first started autocrossing, I did go to HPDE immediately. It turns out I did not really enjoy the process because I have a car that's not prepped for the track, right? So I blown my brake pads up and then overheated my power steering fluid and I went home, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So these are the things that at autocrossing, it really happens because you don't get to run up to that point that your car failed like that. But on track, that's a common thing, right? Because you're pushing beyond the capability of it. So what I did was I started track crossing first, right? So track cross is similar to autocross, except that you're running on track. There are no cones, so you just go from section to section on the racetrack, but it's one car at a time, right? The critical thing is one car at a time. Yes. So within that 20 seconds, while you're on track, there's nothing but you and the car and the track, right? Unless you go super slow until somebody catches you. But if somebody catches you, the person that's catching you will know that he's going to get a rerun. So he's probably happy anyway, right? Yeah. So he's not going to put your life in danger, right? Correct. So track cross, that's why I think that track crosses are the best, sort of intermediate step that you cut across the track. Because what that does is you can apply the car control skills and the course learning management portion of of your autocrossing, right? Apply to an environment that you don't have to deal with traffic at first, but you just get the sense of what the speed would do to you. Okay. So once you learn the speed, you can learn the course in your leisure. It's your own 20 seconds of buffer that you're learning it on, right? So once you learn that pieces of it, which what I did was I track crossed for 3 years straight before I step on the track to do any kind of a performance driving. And by the time I enter the performance driving, I literally have to worry about rules of engagement, watching cars, and managing traffic, right? So so initially I did not feel comfortable with the traffic, but of course I've been in traffic for 6 years now. So after a couple of years of managing traffic and then started time attacking. Time attack is actually an art, right? I don't want to say you have to influence your friends, but if you're racing with your friends, they know who you are, you know who they are. Yeah. Some people like to do this, some people like to do that. And then if you're a little bit more observant and not just kind of full of yourself, right? Yeah. Right. Be considerate of others. You will see that Adam like to do this on track, or my friend Justin likes to do this on track, right? Or, you know, other time trials like James or whatever, they like to do this on track. And then once you learn that, you automatically gap accordingly and then build your own little tiny 3-second buffer. So you literally got your own bubble now, right? Yeah. So that's when everything's perfect.
It's like a dance.
It's like a dance, right? So everybody's synchronized dancing. They're all going at a speed that they want, but they're not interfering with each other. Right. But that takes a little time and planning and know-how in order to do that. Sure. Right. So the key thing is if you're ready to make the jump and switch, to it, right? I would recommend try a couple of track crosses out first, just to get a good feel of, whether you like it or not. Some people jump on it and they go and they see the first car get stuffed into the wall by themselves. You go, oh my God, this is not for me. Right. Which is totally understandable. Right. I mean, when you don't see cars crashing and you saw the first one hit the wall, it was stun anybody. Yeah. Right. But then what happened once you run them on track, you understand what that is like, right? By yourself. And that's the time that you need to step into the HPDEs and start stepping through their programs and actually learn the safety aspect and then the car traffic management aspect of HPDE, right? And then you can basically move up pretty fast, right? Because most organizations want you to do 4 or 5 novice sessions with HPDE, but if you can demonstrate competency, right? Usually 2 or 3, they will most likely advance you if you're good enough, and then you would jump into novice. I would say you would jump in from novice into intermediate. And once you jump into intermediate, there's usually 5 or 6. And then with the check ride, and you get into advanced. So yes, you have to invest, some time, going through that HPDE process, right? To get to advanced. But those are very valuable skills that you're picking up, because once you got car control skills, which is, I think it's the number one thing that you need, and course management and course learning, right? Then you get into the getting used to the speed. And once you get into the speed, and that speed that you're running on track cross is going to expose a lot of things that you need, right? All of a sudden, if you step on the brake is not stopping enough, then you're not running the right brake system, right? But at least you're by yourself. And when you get into a certain speed, the sensations are different, right? And then of course, if you hit a curb, what does a curb do, right? If there's a bump on the track you don't recognize, what does that do? These are the things that you're going to learn from track cross. And then once you get into HPDE portion of it, you're going to start how to push people ahead, how to coexist in traffic. What do you see in the back of you? What's in front of you? What are your plans are, right? And then after that, right, you can start doing time attack. And then once you got very, very familiar with time attack and then deal with traffic, and I think that the next step will be, if you want to do wheel to wheel, and go get a SCCA or NASA competition license to do that, then you're fully ready, right? Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, like McRae, Brian McRae.
Oh yeah, he just did his first race.
This weekend, and then you can see him. I mean, he starts off. He didn't. I mean, I'm not sure if he did a lot of autocrossing to begin with, but you can definitely see that he just went step by step by step by step, right? Get to HPDE, then time attack, became an instructor, and then continue to put stuff, and then started Cage's car, do time, started doing more time trials, do hill climbs, and then now starting doing wheel to wheel. I mean, I think that's the progression.
Unbelievable
to go, right? Unless you're a go-kart racer, that's a different
that's a different
step altogether, right? Yeah. All right. So that would be my answer. I describe my path, right? But when you get on track, you got to remember you're going at 100 miles plus in many different places, right? So everything takes a little bit more time to recover, to do all that, and you're running with people, and occupying the same space at the same time. So that's nothing to be joked about, right? Yeah. So practice your craft, right? Some of the fastest time attackers are autocrossers, right? But some of the autocrossers are not good time attackers.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So
Absolutely.
respect both disciplines. I've seen people who are super fast in track cross. They love it. And I've seen some people that just don't like track cross. And I've certainly seen a lot of track people that come out of autocross and they don't like it. Right. Yeah. And vice versa. But just remember, they're all different disciplines, require different skills. And there's plenty of things to learn. So be humble when you enter the next events. Listen to your instructors, especially on track. It's their life as well as yours. They put your life in your hand as an instructor, right? So they're not going to do things to hurt themselves. And certainly they think of your safety in mind as well. So that's the number one thing that when you get on track is watch out for safety. All right.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
That answered my question.
Yeah.
I love it. I just like all of these different things. Like, for example, I love Pro Solo so much because it mixes drag racing and autocross. I love the time attack because it's just fun. I love the track crosses. Like it's all so fun, but they're also different.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I don't know. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ask Uncle Danny.
All right. Well, you're welcome.
And if anyone else has any questions, please post up in the DMV Autocross Facebook group. Tag Ask Uncle Danny or message us or do whatever it takes to get us that question, and Danny will answer it. And remember, it doesn't always have to be autocross related.
Yeah, it does have to be serious.
Thank you for answering this one, though, Danny.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Okay. See you next one.
See ya.